Hello everybody, this is Lula in the islands. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii, and this is my contribution to #LoveSummerArt. I make a lot of brighter and softer and sea-colored items during the summer, and over the years, probably the last 20 years, I've been making mermaids. So today I'm going to show you how I make a mermaid. This one I just finished. And if you look at my blog, you'll see how I dyed all of the fibers that are hanging there. I did them with acrylic paints, and that's just a little how-to on my blog. But anyway, I paint the dolls, and these can hang. You can hang them up. I have one hanging in my bathroom. You can use them as tree ornaments. Just have them sitting around. They look very pretty no matter where you put them. To start with, I better get going and show you. The way I start is I take some clip art, free clip art, and this is some that I had downloaded before. And what you do is you print it off in black and white, and then I always mount it to some cardboard and then cut it out. So that's my template. And I've got a number of different poses of mermaids, and so that's how I start. Next thing I do is I take some unbleached muslin and I draw around the template, and then I draw in the features later, or sometimes if the muslin is not so dense, you can actually see through it and finish up doing the features, you see. So I usually just sort of do a combination of both. The next thing you need to do is take them to your paint station, I call mine. And mine is outside on my lanai. And just as if you were painting or coloring a coloring book, a child's coloring book perhaps, paint the image. And I usually do it, with sort of different colors, sea colors, seaweed colors. And usually I will use watered down acrylics. Sometimes I use watercolors, and I have done work with pastels and pencils. So grab whatever you have on hand to do the image. I have another image here. This was another one that I've just painted, and usually what I do is I paint a piece of fabric that looks like the ocean, and that will be the back. Now I don't always do that. For example, this mermaid, which is a little bit different, she's sitting. See if I can get her to sit on anything. Let me see here. Yeah, she's sitting. Okay, so this one, the back of her is some Hawaiian fabric. And I thought that looked nice, and that's just another idea. You could actually make the whole mermaid out of Hawaiian fabric. And of course she has a hanger, and a little flower in her hair, and then the hand dyed. This is meant to represent her tail floating through the ocean waves. So that's another one. I'll put that over there. And the method I use is variable. Sometimes I use a method where I sew it onto just some plain muslin. So this doll, what I'm going to do is sew around the edge onto plain muslin, then I'll go back later and I'll sort of coordinate the back with some paint, but I leave that part of it till I've stuffed it. Okay, so this one though, I've taken an easier step probably. This one I have painted some fabric to coordinate. Now when you do the doll, you are going to sew it with wrong sides facing, because it doesn't get turned inside out. I found that was too difficult. So first of all, I'm going to put this particular doll. It's a little hard to get the needle or pin through because it's been painted. So very first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and sew it. And I'm going to sew right around the outline, which I can still see it with pencil. chose this particular image because it doesn't have so much detail, and I think I can get through it a little faster because they do take some time. Doesn't matter when you're painting it if you paint over the edges, and you'll see why that's not a problem. The hardest part of these, I find, is stuffing the part where the tail begins. Can be kind of difficult. It's a very narrow sort of an isthmus that the stuffing has to go through, and that can be a little tricky. And I'm sewing right around the complete doll, not leaving any space to turn it, and you'll see why. Okay. So there's the doll. She's sewn to the background fabric. Now I'm going to cut her out as close as I can without cutting into the stitching, and that'll be about, probably about 1 millimeter away, or about a, 1/8 of an inch, say. So I go around and I'm cutting it out. And then when this is cut out, there will be a little margin that'll be probably white most of the time. And you can do several things to color that. You can either color it with a gold pen, which I've done many times, or a green pen or something. Today, though, I'm going to do it with chalk. And I like chalk because it's sort of, you can rub the chalk in with your finger, and then if you want to, you can spray it with hairspray afterwards to sort of fix it. And it's just easy to work with. And because I'm working inside now, it's not messy. So keep going. Almost. So there. And any pieces that that need tidying up later, you can do that later. This is a hand. Hard to do the fingers, so I usually just make them sort of like a mitten is on the doll. So there's the doll cut out. Now the next thing to do is to get some chalk and go around the edge with some chalk. And I am going to use a combination of 2 colors, I think. That's my palette that I had before. Take that away. And then I'll put this here just to finish up. So the next thing to do is to finish the side where the white is. And I actually go over the stitching too. And this is a piece of green chalk. And it sort of helps hide the stitching, I found. Okay, now I'm going to switch to this sort of a pinky salmon color. And I'll go, oh no, that might be too, let me do that here though. I think it's too strong for her hair, but okay, let me see, for her hair I think I need just a pale color. Maybe that's better. I've had this chalk for years, it lasts forever, and I use it, a lot. I love chalk. You can rub it in with your finger, as I say, it covers a lot of mistakes when you're painting. And as I say, if you spray it with hairspray, it seems to just seal it. You can get a sealer too, Okay, I think we're about there. Now, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of changed the look of that a little bit. There we go. Move that away. Now, to stuff it, I'm going to make a cut in the back. I've got to be careful that I don't cut through to the front. So sometimes that can be tricky. And if you pick it up with a pen sometimes, that can help. Take this away for a minute. Okay, here we go. You don't want too big a cut, just a little one. In fact, I think that's enough. Just a little slit in the back, that's for that. Now, I always use old forceps for the stuffing. If I can find them. Where are they? Here we go. That's old tail material. It's a messy business. Okay. So here I am, ready to stuff. Pull out a bunch of stuffing. And I'm going to start. I usually start with a small amount of stuffing, push it down into the tail first. You could use a chopstick or a pencil, a skewer, anything you like. I just happen to like forceps, mainly because I am a nurse. Retired, mind you. Okay. It is, I've cut through, see what I've done there? Cut through there, so before I go any further, I'm just going to seal that. And this, don't worry about this, I can see I've done this a couple of places, because what you can do is you can run some glue over it later. Okay. So here we go. The tail is pretty much as stuffed as I want it. You don't want it too fat because usually you want to add some fibers and things to it to make it look like seaweed. I'll turn it over and see how it's looking, and that looks fine to me. I'm going to turn off the machine light, and here we go. This is what I call the fiddly part. And I'm not fond of fiddly parts. I like the decorative aspects of it. Now, to decorate them, as I said before, I dyed a whole bunch of lace, old curtaining, some fibers, some gauze, some trims and so forth. I dyed them with acrylic dyes, and you can see a picture of that on my blog, which is justlilla.blogspot.com. And I keep it in a bag, and really just keep it for mermaids. I don't find another use for it because these are not my favorite colors. I particularly like earth colors, and I do a lot of art from the south of France, so I have to use a lot of earth tones. But this is a great way for the mermaids, and I think they do look best in pastels. Okay, well, I'm going to turn this over again and see how it's looking. It's starting to take shape. Now I need more stuffing here. That's pretty good. Tail's pretty good. You don't want them too firm. You want them nicely stuffed. I mean, no lumps. But you don't want them like hard. I don't think it's as nice. I think they should be nice and tactile. So I'm getting there. And to decorate them, you can get little shells, little beads, glitter. These I'm using glitter just because I don't have time for the video to sew on beads and sequins, but I often do that. And sometimes I do quite a lot of hand sewing, little stitchery bits of embroidery, but not today. I wanted to get this done so I can get it loaded up on the internet. Okay, now see, she's got a wrinkle there for some reason, so I'm going to try and take care of that because I don't like that. Otherwise, I think it's kind of good. I think it's perfect. Okay, so that's probably as good as that's going to get there. It's quite a steep sort of L-shaped curve, and it's a little tricky. Okay. Okay, so now, I don't know whether you can see that, but that's where the cut is. Now to cover the cut, I do one of several things. Sometimes I make a little heart. I take some of the fabric that I had before that let's see. I think in this case I will do a little heart. I sort of estimate how big it should be. I fold in half, just make a little heart shape. And I'm going to use some tacky glue. To get a fresh bottle of glue. So I'll put that around the edge, and then I'll put a little bit on this as well. There we go. And that's a good place to sign your name if it's a gift and you want to put your name on it. I don't put my name all over everything. But if you like to, or if it's, you want to say love or something. So there you have the little mermaid. I've already painted her face. Now all she needs is a little bit of decoration, and that's entirely up to you. I think first, let me see, kind of look at her and ask her what she wants. Well, I think she needs something in her hand. That's too bright. Too bright. Actually, I think what I'll do is I will put some glitter on. Let's see here. Got a whole lot of glitter. I think. Okay, so I've got some pink glitter. My daughter sent me this. It's called Vintage Pink. And I'm going to just put some glue on the pink part. So let's see, I'll put some there. Maybe some there. And then I've got this, I always keep a piece of folded paper to catch the... Okay, so there's some glitter on her, and when it dries it'll be a bit fainter. Now I'm going to put glitter on the rest of her. And I'll see if I can find some turquoise that I like. Rid of that. And it might work. It's a little strong. put a little bit on. Going to put a little bit I'm just trying to get it around the top of her corset, and then I'm going to put a little bit on the tail. They say when it dries it's not as so obvious. They want to be nice and sparkly. Oh, I think I missed a couple of bits there. Uh-oh. Okay. If you get it a little bit out of whack, I usually take something like this and I sort of scrape it away. This is a skewer. Okay. And I think, there we go. Alright, well, she's glittered. As I say, normally I would put some beads, maybe a little stitchery here and there. Now she needs some hair. And let me think, what can I put on it? Here, I've got all kinds of fibers and things here. But I don't think I think orange is too bright. Let's see. To move these away. Okay. The only fiber I've got out really is green. It's actually a bluey green. Nope, don't like that. It's not going to work. Well, first of all, I'll look and see if I've got it. Let me see if I've got anything in the way of a flower. There's that. She's kind of dainty, this one, so she needs something sort of dainty. I keep a box of flowers that I've made. She could also hang on to the flower, kind of like that, hanging onto it in a hand instead of a shell. If you've got little seahorse charms or starfish, they're nice to put in a hand. I'm going to have to put a pin through this. What a messy job. I'm covered in glitter. Okay, so I've put a little pin in there to hold that, so she's holding a sea anemone there. Now, something for her hair. Okay. I was looking before to see if I could find the yellow fiber, and I just couldn't get any at the moment. I don't think that's going to work either. The only thing I have is that. It could work. I don't know whether I want to or not, do I? Yeah, maybe. So I'll put this here. It's really just letting them talk to you and tell you what they want at this point. So here we go. Okay, so she's got some seaweed in her hair. Now she needs a tail. And when it comes to the tail, I can mix the colors. Because she's got pink and green and blue, I'm going to take some pink. I've got some blue, which is a bit too wide, so I'll cut it. I've tried tearing it, but it only curls up and then you can't use it. So my method is to grab a few. I've got that. It's too bright. Too bright. Okay, what about this pink? Some of the dyed netting. Okay, so I've got that. And take a piece of this, which is gauze. Okay, and I'll put that. I'm making a little bundle. So far that's where I am. Now I need a bit of green, a bit more green. And I'm going to put something with some sparkle too. Almost done. Okay. So this can go. So there we are. So far, let's see how that's looking. And I spy this. So I think a piece of this. And it's just a sparkly net that I dyed. So I'll take that. Now to tie it all together, I need a bit of something to tie it all together. Actually what I'll do is I'll just tie it around with this. So I'm tying it with some of the net. Okay, so actually it could probably use some more, but for the sake of time, I don't think I'm going to do any more on that, but it'll be like so. So the next thing is I've got to decide where I want to put this. And often I have a little bit of the top showing somewhere. And just looking at her, I could put it with a little bit showing at the back like so. I could also put a little, I think I just like it like that. I'll put glue on the back, and then I'm going to, yeah. So I'm going to push that down till it sticks. Okay, there's one other thing. I think I'll try and find just a tiny bud or something and put in her hair as well as the seaweed. Okay. I've got that. Let's see, is that any good? Don't like the color on that. Almost done, but I just wanted to add a little something else to her hair, and if I had some gems around I'd probably put a little sparkly gem or something, but I'm going to leave that till later because I'm kind of wanting something specific, so I'm going to look for a little star-shaped bead to put there, and it'll be like a, you know, piece of seaweed. Okay, so that's that. Now, the only other thing to do is to put a hanger on it. You don't have to, of course, but I like to put a hanger on the back. Oops, and I've got a special way I do these. And the first thing is I fold a piece of fiber in half, and I put a knot in the end, in the two ends, like that. Then the other side is double, it's the loop, and I just thread that through a darning needle, like so. I don't know if you can see that. But there's the loop. Both pieces of the silver tinsel twine go through. There's the knot on the other end. Then I take a stitch. I don't want to mess it up, but I put a stitch right. Hope she doesn't complain that I'm poking her. Okay. Right through the top of the head. Okay. And then I pull the needle out. See, you can pull the needle out, and then all you need to do is grab the tail, which is knotted, and pull it through the loop. And there you've got your hanger. And of course it's probably a bit long, so I'm going to make it shorter. So there it is. And as I said, it can be a Christmas tree ornament. Okay, I'm going to put the camera into my hand, pick it up I should say, and I can show you these a little better. The Mermaids, and I'm working on this one as well, so I'll just pop her over there. And if you make any mermaids, I'd like to see them. Meantime, they're probably going to swim away. By the way, I'm a mermaid. I swim with a synchronized swim group called the Mermaids, and that's part of my fascination. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye now.